Alrighty, welcome back to another installment of the tier list. Now, today we are going to be looking at TURs, and rather than separating this into 3 videos, which usually I would, but I think for TURs and just sort of that the state of the game is in, I figured why not let's do a longer form video here where we just talk about the landscape of TURs and which ones are the best. Now, with tier lists, you guys always know that this is simply based on my opinion, my experience using the characters, who's more effective for me, who's less effective for me, and all of that fun stuff. So just remember that you should not view my opinion as the be-all, end-all, what this guy says goes. That's not the case for anybody, right? Everybody's experience is different, everybody's playing perspective is different, everybody's situation with dupes and stuff is different. So again, this is just my opinion, and that is how it should be regarded. And if you're going to disagree with myself or someone in the comments, it's always nice to be respectful, and remember, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a ranking and a piece of discussion. So like I said, we're going to be grouping together all of the different groups of TURs in the game. I think that this is just the best way to do it. Super easy A's, and regular Dokkan Fest TURs that have mainly released this year. Some are in 2024, as you can see on the list. But that's how we are going to be doing it. So what we're going to be doing is starting at the bottom with Super Saiyan 3 Goku. They are not ranked. Just something I need to make sure I mention as well. The tier list placements are not going to be ranked. We are going to go from an individual unit basis where these characters are going to go. Decent, pretty damn good characters. Every character on this list is very good. But A tier is going to be like the good, could be better, right? S is going to be very, very good, just not best of the best, and Z is going to be best of the best. So, with all that being said, all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with my first choice here, and that is going to be Super Saiyan 3 Goku from Golden Week. And to me, this character is a solid S. I like this one because of the short form content. There is plenty of that within the game. Even if you have to go to some form of longer form content, he can be okay, but those sort of part 3 10-year red zones is really where you're going to be noticing this character falling off. But as long as you have that beginning buff of the 90% damage reduction and guard, it is going to be very tough to power creep this guy out of the S or the A tier. Literally every event in the game needs to go past where his buffs are going to wear off to the point where they're not usable, and right now that is not the case because Festival of Battles is very important, but it's not the whole game, and I always have to make sure I emphasize that. And short form content, this guy just has everything you're looking for, right? The ability to stun, 90% damage reduction, guard, additional supers, crits. Really just a very good short form content ace. And the same thing could be said for his counterpart, which we'll be talking about here in a little bit. But with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, you always have the solid link set. You have the teams that he's on with Buu Saga, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, right? Other World Warriors. Like, he is just on a lot of teams. I know I only said a few, but like, you guys know Goku family characters, like, they're just on a lot of teams. So Goku, very versatile character. Someone that if I like put too low, people are always like, where the hell is Super Saiyan 3 Goku? So you always got to make sure you put him in there. Otherwise, people get upset pretty quick. And but like overall, I just really like where this character is at in the game right now. Just because, you know, there's just different flavors of content, and short form content, he is up there for sure. And the same thing is going to be said about his counterpart, Majin Buu. I think he is also S. Really big fan of the way that they designed this Majin Buu, especially, again, for short form content where you can cheese his revive into his Ghost Usher. We've talked about this tech 1,000 times on the channel, but if you don't know about it, what essentially you want to do is get his revival as soon as possible. Even if you're running him off a leader skill on a team, he's still going to be able to do what you need him to do, where he's going to revive, and then he's going to come back, and on that turn where he comes back, you're going to be able to use his active skill, which then gives you the Ghost Usher effect, which, if you don't know, takes away all of the attacks from the enemy on that turn. So for something like Battle Hardened Formidable Foes, where the fight keeps resetting, you're going to be able to do this more than once, and it's just very, very overpowered. On top of that, he has guard and defensive stacking, very overpowered mechanics, just really, really good. He's a Buu Saga leader. He's just doing a lot of really good things for the team that I think ultimately end up being very important. And you really just cannot go wrong with this guy. I think if we go to a more like, you just can't afford to use these guys turn 1, that is where they would sort of kind of go down to something like here, right? But again, these characters they designed them so well, and the tech that they have and the abilities that you're able to use with these characters just makes them extremely overpowered and extremely hard for them to be power crept just because of the little things that they are doing, right? It's a bit of a joke, but the unironic best way to run like this Fat Buu is just like, even if you pull dupes, just like barely even use them, right? Like, it's like, obviously rainbow this character if you can. I'm just kind of messing around, but like, the low-key optimal build is give this guy as little defense as possible, so that way it's like you're guaranteed to get the revival right away, right? Now, if you're going to longer form content, that's where you're going to want to put your dupes in and do all that fun stuff. But like I said, jokes aside, this character is still very, very good in long form content, and short form content just has a lot of things going for him. I think where you can't stack fast enough and the damage ramps up too quick, that's where this guy sort of gets caught, right? Festival of Battles just doesn't hit hard long enough to the point where you're kind of able to get up there defensively, but the damage from this character is not going to be much, especially in those later phases. So that's why Festival of Battles, again, I'm not going to consider it everything, but you can't pretend that it doesn't exist. So Fat Buu, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, easy S tier. Let's move on to another S tier character. There's going to be a lot of S in this video, but that's going to be easy A, Pat the Power, Kid Goku. Very big fan of how they designed this guy. Damage reduction support, rainbow orb changing, decent attack, right? Defensive gimmicks, like just okay, but overall really like the way that they designed this character on teams that definitely need help with like Dragon Ball Saga and stuff like that. I think this is a kind of a case where if we want to pull this one up, we could go to like Dragon Ball Saga and sort of talk about this one. This character right here, Mr. Goku, funny enough, we'll be talking about Tao later, but if we go down here to Dragon Ball Saga, and we look at Pat the Power Kid Goku. Being a lead for that team is very nice, but obviously now with Mercenary Tao, things are going to be looking a little bit different. But if we go over here to his categories, there's just a lot of teams that he can just slide on and be good, right? Movie Heroes, Bond of Parent Child, Kamehameha, Earthbred Fighters, Goku Family, right? These are all, basically all of these are real teams, right? Bond of Parent Child is a real team, but the issue with this one right now is just a leader skill, right? The modern character that gets this leader skill is automatically going to have immense value just because of the sheer amount of characters that go on here, right? Like, you guys can see just by looking at it, right? It's just, look how many good characters are on this team, right? You've got Vegeta, Gogeta, Gohan, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Beast Gohan, UI Gokus, Super Saiyan 4 Gokus, right? The gods, the fours, the UI Gokus, the Evolution Blue Vegetas. All of like the best characters in the game find themselves on this team. Almost all of them, right? There are definitely some characters that aren't. But when you have that, it just makes it really overpowered. And the fact that this guy can go in here, give the support that he is giving the rainbow orb changing, very valuable. Again, extra support. Just a very nice plug-and-play character where you just find the situation you want to run him in, and he can play pretty well. I don't think he's good enough on the offensive or defensive end to warrant Z tier, but overall, I really like his utility right now, and I think he definitely earns a respectable place at the S tier. Okay, so moving along here, we have the next unit that we are going to be talking about, and that is our boy Scouter Vegeta. Now, with Scouter Vegeta, let me just say that, preface this, I like this unit, but he is a one-trick pony. He is really good for the Festival of Battles, and that's really about it. And I know a lot of people just really don't care that much, right? Like, you're kind of like, it's kind of like two schools of thought with the Festival of Battles. It's like you either highly value it or you don't think it matters, right? And I can definitely understand the perspective of somebody saying it doesn't matter because you get to stage 25, you get your stones, and you're done. That's like the motivation for a lot of people is get the dragon stones, be done with it. I get that. I don't think that way. I think that there's a lot of pride in beating that event. I had a really good time getting the clear and the no item run for that, but it was a pain in the ass, right? It was like, I completely get that, like, even myself, right? Like, because university was going on at the same time. I didn't have time to sit down and just do like 3-hour runs over and over and over. So this is where this Vegeta helps, right? Especially if you have this guy with a bunch of dupes, like he is so good for that event with his stacking and whatnot. Like just a really, really good character for that event. But the issue is using him everywhere else. And I can't just be like, oh, you're the best at Festival of Battles, you're the best in the game. That's just not how I view things. Is it points in your direction? Yes. Is it going to move you from A to Z? No. So that's why I have him down here. I just don't think that he does enough aside from his stacking and his orb changing. That's really where he comes into value for the Festival of Battles. So that's really kind of all I have to say about him. He's good for Festival of Battles, but I probably wouldn't go much higher. So let's just go ahead and move off of him. And the next character we're going to move into is Slug. Now, Slug, I like with his domain being, sort of, this kind of just where I gotta pull this guy up as I'm talking, but with Slug, I like that he has his intro buff going and whatnot, but I just don't know if, like, on every team that you have, you're going to be, like, running him as a top option, right? Like Demonic Power, there's so many different ways that you could build that team, but with that being said, 6% damage reduction for 3 turns, very nice, right? The ability to heal, having a scouter after you've been hit, when you have this extra healing here as well, extra key support, doing all of this extra stuff, giving support in the domain. This is a very, very good character. I just don't see myself like using him a ton in a lot of the modern form of content. I think that in like Festival, or not Festival, but Battle Hard and Formidable Foes, this is where you could see a lot of usage for this character. Pretty big fan of the usage there. The ability to stun, the damage reduction, the resetting, the healing. This is just going to be very good for him. But it's just a tough spot, right? Because like his leader skill is pretty good, right? But like demonic power, you're just running Glorio. Inhuman Deeds, it's a little bit different. I wouldn't really run Inhuman Deeds right now. And then movie bosses, obviously you have the Broly setup that is much more preferable to this one because Broly's are not going to be overlapping with demonic power. So that's where things do get a little bit tricky for this guy. It's just his spot. Do I think individually as a kit he's impressive? Yes. Do I love his spots? No. So that's why I'm going to have him in A, but I do like the character. Next up on the list, we've got our boy Buuhan. I'm a pretty big fan of this TUR Buuhan. Really, my only complaint with him is that he shares the name with the Super EZA, and it's the fact that you gotta have all of the power absorption to get to the domain. And Kid Buu, if you have like a Kid Buu on the rotation who's a very good Majin power, demonic power, transformation boost, all of that fun stuff, that Kid Buu does not trigger the domain for this Buuhan. So that's where things get a little bit tricky with him, but when he's in that domain, he's one of the best defensive characters in the game. He has stacking abilities, he has really good support for the Majin Power team. You can make Buuhan look like an absolute Giga Chad, right? Like the Super EZA Buuhan, we're talking 60 million, we're talking 70 million, right? Like 2 to 3 supers, just doing insane damage. And just overall, with that Buuhan domain, you can make some of the better demonic / Majin Power characters in the game look a lot better. And that is why I have him as high as I do. Defensively, when he's in his domain, he's an absolute tank, and I really like the way that he operates. So don't really have too much negative to say about Buuhan. Definitely not Z. I think that the base Buuhan is not impressive enough. It's really just sort of the domain and the support that he's giving that I'm really giving all the points to here. So that's why I'm not going to put him in Z, but overall, I really like the character. Let's go ahead and move on. And the next character I want to talk about is going to be Tech Ultimate Gohan. This would be one that I would probably have in the fringe, but I'm going to go A. I really like Tech Ultimate Gohan, but I don't know if I like him to the level of the 4 characters that I have above him right now. You guys know how he works. Has guard, has some damage reduction, has stacking abilities. Short form content like Battle Hard, Formidable Foes, not going to be the best. Festival of Battles, he'll be okay. When it comes to synergy with the rest of the team, it's not the best. This is where link sets can become a bit of an issue because Ki is going to be a bit more of a problem if you're running this Gohan with, say, like the Tech Vegetos of the world. So can't really give him too much points for that, but individually as a character for something like Festival of Battles, he absolutely has the potential to be good, but right now I just don't know. It's kind of tough. Again, for like anniversary content, I did not find myself. This is also another metric that you can use for characters, right? Do you find yourself constantly using them, right? If you're like, if you can put them on a team, you're automatically doing it, that probably means they're Z or S, and that is not the case with this Ultimate Gohan. Really like the character, really like what he did for the game, one of my favorite TURs of all time, but I'm going to be putting him at A, and that's not going to be the case here for the next 3. I'm actually going to kind of move a little bit because this video is already 12 minutes, and I realized like we're barely getting through it. So next up on the list, we have some of the Majin Buu Saga EZAs that were not Super EZAs. I think I like it something like this, where almost all of them are S, like all 5 of these characters that we're looking at right now are in the S tier. That's where I think they belong. Very, very good characters, right? Just a few things with each of them, right? Goten and Trunks, you kind of want to have like that unit super ability that they have. It's helpful. At the beginning of the fight, they can be a little bit suspect, but they have one of the most broken active skills in the game with the guaranteed dodge. The abilities that they have to just put out some damage is very good. And I think S is as high as I could go. And then Vegeta and Goku, their transformation conditions can be a bit of a pain. All 3 of these characters actually really. The physical Super Saiyan 3 Goku is amazing, but I feel like I never see him, right? Majin Vegeta, a little bit tough to see. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the other one, a little bit easier to see, but not always going to be guaranteed. And then STR Kid Buu just works really well on the Buuhan team, especially when you don't have him on the domain turn, so that way you can actually get the domain up and see him at a more impressive clip. So that's why I have him up as high as I do. I do like this Kid Buu a lot, but that's probably as high as I'd be willing to go. I don't think they are worthy of the Z tier, but I do like them quite a bit. So that is sort of where I have them right now. And that is going to be the same thing for our boy Vegito, as well as Janemba and Gogeta. So these 3 Super EZAs, right? Kind of just going through this batch here. I like all of them. I think Gogeta is probably the best of the 3. If I had to rank them, it would look something like that. Gogeta, Janemba, Vegito. But with Gogeta, well, I guess we'll start with Gogeta. Really good against extreme class enemies, basically quad supering, quad critting, doing attack lowering, doing defensive lowering. Really everything you were looking for from like a floating Super EZA TUR. A lot of damage from crits, a lot of debuffs, a lot of additionals, exactly what you want in a TUR. Janemba, the dodge chance, very nice. Good link set character for a lot of other units, being able to get stuff like Metamorphosis, Big Bad Bosses, Fierce Battle, all of that fun stuff you're able to get from this Janemba, and he works very, very well for other villain characters in the game, and I think that that warrants him this S spot. I wouldn't put him in Z. He's very good, but not quite up there. Most of these characters are there. The Z tier I like to be the smallest, or the A tier. Then when it comes to Vegito, it really just comes down to the fact that he can get tagged by supers, and it's like, when you're using this character, I know this isn't actually how it works, but this is just how it feels. It feels like the boss always supers where Vegito is, no matter what. It's that, or it's the only time I ever notice it, right? So it's like, I always feel like my Vegito is getting tagged by supers, but if you can get away with the high risk, high reward sort of ceiling that he has with all the damage from crit counters, you can put in some work with this character. I think he is very good. If you want to put him in A, I wouldn't really be upset with that. I think that that's honestly a fair assessment of the character. But I think that S is probably where I'd like him, because his counters can add up and do a lot of damage, and he's also providing support for one of the best teams in the game, being the Fused Fighters and all of that. So, you know, he makes Gogeta look better, Gogeta makes him look better, he makes the 10 years look better. So I'm not going to fault him too much. This is a very good character, but again, just high risk, high reward, and he is he's an extremely frustrating character to run, because you are going to be running into those situations where I think that he just could be better. And that's sort of what it comes down to. So, you know, Vegito, very good. Beerus is going to be the same thing here. I think he's on that same level. When you're running them with movie bosses, Realm of Gods, he has guard, he has damage reduction, just has very nice defensive capabilities. And on top of that, he's also providing utility with his rage mode, where you could sort of work around supers. And then also in the rage mode on his 12 key, he has the ability to stun. So this ability to stun is going to make him much better for fights like Battle Hard or Formidable Foes. We're going to have access to that rage mode multiple times, and it just overall makes the character better. Being able to move supers around and not have to worry about getting destroyed by normals is always going to be a valuable mechanic, and that is why I really like this Beerus. Fits well on teams that you want to plug and play him into. The main teams that I've really ran him on are it's really just movie bosses, and then Realm of Gods is kind of in a weird spot where, like, pure Realm of Gods, if we pull up that category, I don't feel like is the best. Like, it has very good options, but it's just the team synergy, right? Because right now, especially, you do not want to be running double Tech UI. Like, I love Tech UI to death, but he is definitely not like a character you want two of on the team. So if you are running a Realm of Gods setup, you're probably going this Goku, the Super Saiyan Gods, the 7-year EZA is right here, right? So that's going to be, what, 4? And then Evolution Blue Vegeta, that's 5. And then 6 is like that Beerus, right? So it's a good team, but it's not great. And again, I really am not like an advocate for double UI Goku, right? The tech one, just not how I like to get down by any means. So that is sort of how I'm feeling about Beerus right now. Very good character, but not going to put him much higher than these other ones on the list. So S, I feel like, is a good spot. But now we have gotten to Super EZA Buuhan, and I am happy to announce that I can put him in the Z tier. I love this Buuhan EZA. He's one of my favorite characters in the game. The Rainbow Orb changing he has, the healing, the damage reduction attacks that he's getting with Rainbow Orbs. It's just, you get a lot of Rainbow Orbs for this guy, 3 of them specifically, and you're cooking, right? Can he get tagged by a slot 1 super? Yes. But not every time, right? With the high 66% damage reduction, it's all going to come down to situation. You put him in slot 2 next to a slot 1 character like Tech Buuhan in his domain, and then you just kind of reap the benefits, right? We're talking consistently reaching like 30 million plus on his supers, doing 2 of them, doing 3 of them, critting, just really, really consistent character that has very good links, right? Link set, like, people, I think, overrate, like, or overblow when a character's links aren't great. Like, we're going to be talking about him a little bit later, but Mercenary Tao, Tech Gohan, these are 2 characters where people did not like their links. And did it really matter? No. Tech Ultimate Gohan literally made the devs, like, change how guard was given out. Where it's like, they were like massively greatly stacking in guard just cannot be given out anymore. Like, that was literally sort of the thought process that Gohan brought to the table, right? Like, that was how good he was. And it's important to note that, because like link sets, when they are good, it is only a buff. Like, you look at this right, or it's only a plus. So Big Bad Bosses, Shocking Speed, Metamorphosis, While Standing Tall, Majin, Fierce Battle, all of these links for like Majin characters, it's perfect, right? His best linking partners, some of the better Buu characters in the game. Buu in his domain, Physical Buuhan, right? 4 links with him, 4 links with this Buu down here, 4 links with this Kid Buu, 4 links with that Kid Buu, 4 links with Cell. some of the best TURs in the game are really good linking partners for him, right? And it being 4 links, and most of those being big bad bosses, by the way, probably just the best link in the game when you can get it. Just really, really important. So that's why I have this guy up as high as I do. I really like this Buuhan. He's extremely consistent, and I like running him on the teams. Him along with Gogeta and Vegeta and Janemba, like when he's around. For some reason on this Redstone he wasn't, but those are like Redstone picks that I'm always advocating for because I think they are that good. So that's why I have them where I do. Really like this Buuhan. Let's move on to Daima Goku, who is going to be a solid S. I'm going to move him at the top for people that don't see this and don't watch the beginning of the video. Like, I'll just put him up a little bit. With this right here, really like the abilities for Daima Goku, right? He's very hard to hit and provides good support. That's really what it comes down to. Very nice link set, fits on a lot of teams. Definitely better than these 3 characters, except for like this guy in Festival of Battles. It's like, you know, stacking events, it's not really what you're looking for with this guy, but he makes a lot of the best units in the game look even better when you run them on the teams. I think that's really what it comes down to. But the Daima unit that I really want to talk about is Glorio. You guys know, like, at this point, Glorio glazing is like almost the level of Beast Gohan. Not quite, because Beast Gohan I put higher than a lot of characters that people do not like. But Glorio, I am such a fan of this character. The demonic power, running 2 of him, it's literally like a 220% leader skill, but without actually being a 220% leader skill, right? That constant support that he's providing for attack and defense more than makes up for the fact that he's just a pure 200 for demonic power. Accelerated battle is one of the best teams in the game as well. And his ability to dodge, his ability to do 4 to 5 supers, his ability to provide that insane support, his active skill, the ability that he builds up, right? Getting all of this extra damage, all of this extra defense, all of this extra dodging, and the crazy support. There's just no way for me to really not put him in the Z tier. He's easily one of the best TURs in the game, without a shadow of a doubt, right? I really like this character. You guys have heard me talk about him a ton, but he's been out for almost 6 months now, so I hope you guys understand how he works. Lots of supers, easy dodging, lots of support. That's what you got to know about Glorio, and he works very well with the demonic power team. Next up on the list, we've got our boy Cell. I really like Cell as well, sort of just a light version of what this Buuhan is for me. Very consistent defensively, has the Rainbow Orb changing, has the healing, just again, a very consistent super easy A that it just works well on a lot of teams that you want to be running him on. Cell-based teams, very, very solid character. Definitely think he belongs in the Z tier along these guys. If you want to bump him down to S, I think that's fine, but when you're like one of the 3 best super easy A's in the game right now, I think that has to count for something, and that is why I have him as high as I do. So going to be putting Cell in Z. Next up are high on the S tier as well. These are going to be the GT Golden Week characters. Very similar spiel to the other ones, or to them, like, you know, from side to side with Goku and Vegeta. I like Vegeta a little bit better with his defensive capabilities, but both of them very nice with their support and their Rainbow Orb changing. They both are very good offensively. Vegeta is much better defensively, but they just hold it down for the Giant 8 Power team, which at some point, you know, Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku's coming, and hopefully they are still meta relevant by then. Again, if you want to, I think Vegeta you could argue in Z, but I'm going to keep them in S, kind of keep them paired together. I think that that's just a safer bet, and that's where I like them right now. Now, moving on to Kid Goku. This is another Z tier 1, good in short form content, good in long form content. Really anything you need. I think that this Goku is just holding it down for you. Really big fan of how they designed this Goku, the stacking that he has, the immense amount of damage that he can provide for your team, the Earthbred Fighters lead, just a very consistent character. The guard after the active skill, especially doing a certain amount of supers, you're going to be looking very, very good overall with this character. So Z tier easily for me. Let's move on to Cell, and Cell is going to be an S. You could put him borderline Z. I think he's aging very well. Just, again, a little bit restricted to his domain, but it's not hard to get his domain whatsoever. So not going to talk too much about Cell. I'm going to pair this guy up with the AGL first form Cell. It transforms, very good. Really like the way that this character has kind of fleshed out, right? So characters that have been out for a while, I'm going to move them up a bit. I think these guys are S as well. I think these guys are S. It pains me to do this, but these guys are A. I'm going to put you in A. Ginyu, just not enough. We can kind of leave it at that. This video is going on pretty long, so I don't want to leave you guys for too long. I know a lot of people like long-form content, but again, it is a bit tough. AGL Kaioken Blue, like him at S. Pretty high risk, high reward, but overall, I think he could have been better. Kale and Caulifla, easy Z, easy Z, easy Z. So again, keep in mind, these are not ranked. If I had to rank them, it would probably be something like this. We'd have Tao up here. We'd have Goku here. It would look, I don't know, something like this. It's tough, right? Like Hit here, maybe. It would be something like this, right? This is probably how I would have it if you had to make me rank them. It would be something like that. But just sort of talking about them one at a time, especially in the Z tier. Kale and Caulifla, just for me, like what I'm looking for in an EZA, they were perfect. Offense, defense, they got the stacking that they needed. They got the extra gimmicks that they needed. The dodge chance, especially at the beginning, they're able to very safely build up. That is what I'm looking for in an EZA, where they go from like the anticipation where it's like, is this EZA going to be good? Are they going to be like everything that we've expected? And sometimes that is the case where it's like, oh my God, they actually were everything we expected. And then you have a situation like Kale and Caulifla where they go beyond that. For Festival of Battles, they make it a joke. They make it so much easier. And that is very akin to what they were with the LR back in 2019, where it's just like, holy hell, this character is really, really good. And that is sort of what we are seeing here again with this tech Kale and Caulifla, specifically with their EZA. You fuse into Kefla, you've got a lot of things going for you, a lot of supers. Just really a big fan of how they designed this character. And I think that overall, that's what I want from EZAs. I literally made a whole video talking about that, where it's like, this is what I want from my EZAs, right? Just, can it always be the case for it? No, it's just not how Dokkan works. You know, there's just bad characters are bound to happen in a game like this. But that's just where I'm feeling about Kale and Caulifla right now. With Mercenary Tau, short form content like Battle Hard Formidable Foes, just absolutely nuts. Really good offense, really good defense, high damage reduction, the ability to stun, has a pretty easy access to his intro buff. You just need another one on his team. I think the mission execution category was a little bit disappointing. Unfortunately, the Ginyu EZA was just not enough. You could probably move Ginyu up to S if you wanted to, but just not really a fan of him or the EZA normals or the EZA sub-unit, the sub-EZA units that we got alongside him and Jason Berger and Rakumen Goldo. Just unfortunately, we're not good enough, but these things happen. So really what you're doing is you're running Tau, and it's an Earthbred Fighters team with 2 Taus, right? That's really what you're doing, because Earthbred Fighters is really good. But what this also is going to allow you to do is run Earthbred Fighters with Glorio on it, because he is on the mission execution team. So with Mercenary Tau, you can sort of combine a lot of the best TURs and LRs in the game and run them on one team. So you have to give him points for that. Hit, big fan of his active skill, what he's able to do, the Ghost Usher that he has access to, the ability to action break, the ability to stack, and stuff like that. So very, very good characters here, and that is going to round out the Z tier. Kaioken Blue Goku, just not good enough. Pikkon, Janemba, just also like very good characters. I just wouldn't put them on the level of the ones of the Z tier. And then it's the same thing for Exchange Goku Gohan, very good. And then Cell, it's sort of the same thing. The AGL Cell, where you're just looking to transform, do all that fun stuff, and you want to have multiple enemies as well. So that is going to round out the tier list for today. This is what I'm thinking for the TURs. Again, remember here, it says it at the bottom for those of you who scroll to the end. The tiers are not ranked individually here. Wherever you want to put this, if you want to put Tau at 1, put Tau at 1. Not going to hurt my feelings and not going to be the end of the world either. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know what your top 10 is right now. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you did enjoy. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you were new, and I'll see you all in the next one.